What's going on, everybody? C4 here today, continuing with my draft rankings real early. I wanted to try to do these as early as possible while still having a good feel on the draft class, so that when draft season begins here on Beast Mode TV real late, you know, come February, March, something like that, we have something to refer to. So we're doing a specific, I wasn't sure if I was going to do the tight ends and if I was going to do the offensive line. I figured I might as well do all of them. Why not? We got plenty of time at hand. But because, you know, there's not a whole lot of tight ends that get drafted. On average, there's like at least 10. Like 10's probably close to average. We're not going to do a full top 10 because then we're going to be talking about guys that go in the 6th, 7th round. So I'm just going to talk about the top 5 tight ends in this year's draft class. And the top 5 guys are all players, you know, have a realistic chance of whatever team drafts them getting meaningful minutes in their rookie season. So we're going to try our best. We're going to try to throw what round I think they'll go in. And if I can get a pro comp, I will try my best to give you that. So jumping in at number 5, it is going to be Jalen Samuels from North Carolina State. Now this guy's kind of a hybrid tight end, H-back, and play a little bit running back, fullback-ish. 5'11", 225 pounds. On the year, he has 54 receptions, 453 yards, and 10 total touchdowns. I think he has 3 receiving and 7 rushing. He's just a weapon. And he really reminds me of Delanie Walker. Delanie Walker, really undersized tight end, can do a lot of everything. And I really see that with Jalen Samuels. I don't necessarily know if he's going to be an outright tight end in the NFL. I think he's going to be one of those versatile players. Maybe for Philadelphia Eagle fans, think of like a Leonard Weaver, you know, a guy that plays more fullback. Like literally, you can move him all over the place. He's the kind of guy like that a coach like Chip Kelly, who thinks he's smarter than everyone else, would love to draft just to try to cause some nightmares. Really looks like the kind of player that Bill Belichick actually would. I think he will go between rounds 4 and 5. He is kind of a niche player, but really productive and can be a big-time mismatch guy in the NFL. You know, it's one of those things. He is a fullback. He's classified as I think he will come out as a tight end. I think that's going to be his official, you know, if the draft, when they put him in his combine positions, he will go as a tight end. But that's obviously 5'11", a sub 6 foot tall tight end. I can't remember the last time there was. I think Delanie Walker's 6'1". So, I mean, it's not too bad of a height discrepancy, but I see a lot of Delanie Walker and how versatile he is in Jalen Samuels. Moving on to number 4 is going to be Troy Fumagalli from Wisconsin, 6'6", 248 pounds. On the year right now. We're doing this, actually, I should say, as far as week 6. So week 6 and beyond, that is the stats that we're using as our base mark here. Troy Fumagalli, as of week 6, has 18 receptions, 267 yards, and 3 receiving touchdowns. Kind of reminds me of a rookie that came out last year, had a really bad injury before he got hurt. He was regarded as one of the top tight ends in the country. That is Jake Butt, who is now a member of the Denver Broncos. I think Fumagalli is going to go between rounds 2 and 4. I just don't see him testing very well, but he's your prototypical good college tight end that should be a serviceable tight end in the NFL. A guy that's going to be, you almost throw him in like the CJ Fedorowicz type of mold. You know, good size, 6'6", I said 6'6", 248, limited blocker, much more of a receiver, big time red zone threat with that size. You know, a very serviceable tight end that can go to a tight end hungry team that, you know, maybe not needs a starter right away. I think he has starter upside potential, but he's definitely a guy you want to rotate in. Maybe a team that likes to run a lot of 2 tight end sets would be a good spot for Troy Fumagalli to end up, but he's a very talented tight end and should, I'd say by year 2, year 3, maybe start to emerge as a tight end 1. Going to number 3, it is going to be Adam Brenneman from the University of Massachusetts, formerly of Penn State, a big-time Penn State player, was a 5-star recruit at the tight end spot. I read on his Wikipedia page, and I do recall he was one of those dudes that even after the Penn State rape scandal, he was still like, hey everyone, Penn State, Penn State, Penn State. But then he had a bunch of injuries, transferred to UMass. This guy is a machine, a statistical machine. 6'5", 255 pounds, 36 receptions for 500 yards and 2 touchdowns. Again, quality competition may come against him a little bit, but I still think he will go between rounds 2 and 4, much like Troy Fumagalli. And reminds me of Max Williams a lot. The guy is a very natural receiver. Max Williams, coming out of Minnesota, made some incredible catches. Guy was just pretty much a glorified wide receiver with a, you know, tight end size. I definitely think Adam Brenneman fits that mold. It really does come down to how much they see the quality of competition that he's playing at UMass, but he basically is the #1 receiver. And anytime a tight end is the #1 receiver and produces at the level Adam Brenneman is, with that size, if he can test well, I could certainly see 2nd round as his ceiling. Going to tight end number 2 is going to be Mike Gesicki from Penn State. Man, Penn State get all the decent tight ends. Gesicki, 6'6", 252 pounds on the year, 22 catches for 176 yards and 4 touchdowns. For rounds, again, 2nd to 3rd round, it's not very rare, but there's usually one tight end that's worth a first-round grade. Gesicki could slip into that. He is a really good red zone target. He's decent at chipping in the run to help out Saquon Barkley, which is why I give him the pro comp of Hunter Henry. A couple years ago, Hunter Henry was undisputed the top tight end in the draft class. He did a lot of things right at the University of Arkansas. Much more of a receiver, but also could come in and chip in on the run game. And I think more and more teams now are going to want that. It seems like there's a little bit of a trend of teams not just wanting to get like the Jimmy Graham type straight up wide receiver tight ends. They want to get guys that are more well-rounded, and I think a guy like Mike Gesicki can offer that to a team. I don't at this point see him slipping into the first round. Maybe could be a fringe first rounder depending on what the needs are from the teams at the bottom side of that, but a very talented player. It could, you know, kind of talent-wise that he could be a tight end one his rookie season. And then the number one tight end in the nation. I felt like this for quite some time. I've seen him fluctuate from 1 to 3 on a lot of other people's draft rankings. He's been number 1 for me since I saw him like a year ago, and that is Mark Andrews from Oklahoma, 6'5", 250 pounds. On the year, he has 23 receptions, 459 yards, and 3 receiving touchdowns. I think he's a first-round talent. He'll, you know, like again, tight end is a niche pick to predict because it is all about is that the team's number 1 glaring need. But he's going to go between rounds 1 and 2. I see a lot of Zach Ertz as far as his receiving style and his route running, but he's definitely a more willing blocker. You can't play University of Oklahoma and not contribute to that run game. They're always a team that prides himself historically on running the ball well, but he is, don't get it twisted, he's not a blocking tight end. He is a receiving tight end. Very electrifying, makes a lot of big-time plays for Baker Mayfield, and is a big reason why Baker Mayfield has been in Heisman contention, has been being able to put up the box score crazy stat lines that he has this year, because he is an absolute safety net. And I think he had an injury. I think he might have missed a game or 2 this year, but I think when all is said and done, as far as like big school tight ends, he should have the top stats, and rightfully so, and I think he's going to test really well. I've actually heard some scouts on Twitter compare him to Gronk. I think that's a little too extreme. But, you know, I just see him more so as far as a receiver. He has really soft hands and good route running, very similar to Zach Ertz, and as well as where Ertz is not a blocker by any means, Mark Andrews is willing to stay in there. Throw a chip or 2, you know, he has that mentality. So there you go, guys. Those are my top 5 tight ends in college football. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comment section below. If I missed a tight end from your team or someone else that I should take another deep dive in, you know, let me know. Let me hear it. This is your first time stopping by. Don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. And until next time, it's C4 saying peace out.